U.S. could default this summer unless $31.4 trillion debt ceiling is raised, CBO warns. Congressional Budget Office releases ex-date estimate. Treasury Department hit federal debt limit last month. The Congressional Budget Office, CBO, on Wednesday said the U.S. Treasury Department will exhaust its ability to pay all its bills sometime between July and September, unless the current $31.4 trillion cap on borrowing is raised or suspended. In a report issued alongside its annual budget outlook, the non-partisan CBO cautioned that a historic federal debt default could occur before July if revenue flowing into the Treasury in April, when most Americans typically submit annual income tax filings, lags expectations. If the debt limit is not raised or suspended before the extraordinary measures are exhausted, the government would be unable to pay its obligations fully, the CBO report said. As a result, the government would have to delay making payments for some activities, default on its debt obligations, or both. Separately, the CBO said annual U.S. budget deficits will average $2 trillion between 2024 and 2033, approaching pandemic-era records by the end of the decade, a forecast likely to stoke Republican demands for spending cuts. Meanwhile, the CBO estimated an unemployment rate of 4.7% this year, far above the current 3.4%. CBO Director Philip Swagel attributed the rise to higher interest rates that particularly are hitting the housing industry, coupled with slowing business investment. The sobering analysis reflects the full impact of recent spending legislation, including investments in clean energy and semiconductors and higher military spending, along with higher healthcare, pension and interest costs. It assumes no change in tax and spending laws over the next decade. Over the long term, our projections suggest that changes in fiscal policy must be made to address the rising costs of interest and mitigate other adverse consequences of high and rising debt, Swagel said in a statement. The need to raise the debt ceiling is driven by past spending laws and tax cuts, some enacted under Joe Biden's predecessor, Donald Trump. Republicans, who control the House of Representatives, want to withhold the debt limit increase until Democrats agree to deep spending cuts. Democrats in turn say the debt limit should not be held hostage to Republican tactics over federal spending. After hitting the $31.4 trillion borrowing cap on 19th of January, Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen said the Treasury can keep up payments on debt and federal benefits, and make other outlays at least through 5th of June using cash receipts and extraordinary cash management measures. Year of the debt limit. So far in 2023, not a day has gone by on Capitol Hill without lawmakers jousting over the debt limit, as Democrats press for a quick, clean increase in Treasury borrowing authority and Republicans insist on first nailing down significant reductions in future government spending. Social Security and Medicare, the government's popular pension plan and its health care program for Americans ages 65 and older, are at the center of the debt limit and government funding debate, as both parties also jockey to define the contours of the 2024 presidential and congressional election campaigns. There has been a Republican drumbeat to cut Social Security and Medicare, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, a Democrat, told reporters on Tuesday. Republican Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell has labored, without much success so far, to smother such talk. Let me say one more time. There is no agenda on the part of Senate Republicans to revisit Medicare or Social Security. Period, he said at a news conference. Most Americans do not closely follow Washington's debt ceiling saga, but they still worry it could hurt their finances, according to a Reuters/Ipsos public opinion poll conducted between 6 to 13 February. In that poll, 55% of U.S. adults said they have heard little or nothing about the debate, but 3/4 of respondents said Congress must reach a deal because defaulting would add to their family's financial stress, largely through potentially higher borrowing costs. We have a small favor to ask. Tens of millions have placed their trust in The Guardian's fearless journalism since we started publishing 200 years ago, turning to us in moments of crisis, uncertainty, solidarity, and hope. More than 1.5 million supporters, from 180 countries, now power us financially, keeping us open to all and fiercely independent. Will you make a difference and support us too? Unlike many others, The Guardian has no shareholders and no billionaire owner. Just the determination and passion to deliver high-impact global reporting, always free from commercial or political influence. Reporting like this is vital for democracy, for fairness, and to demand better from the powerful. The federal government could default on its debt as early as July if Congress is unable to raise the debt limit, according to a report released Wednesday by the Congressional Budget Office, CBO. The nonpartisan budget scorekeeper said the Treasury Department could exhaust the so-called extraordinary measures it began taking last month to stave off a default sometime between July and September. The office noted that it is difficult to pinpoint an exact date, as factors like revenue collected during tax season and government spending in the next few months could have an impact on the timeline. In particular, income tax receipts in April could be more or less than we estimate, CBO Director Philip Swagel said in a prepared statement. If those receipts fell short of estimated amounts, for example, if capital gains realizations in 2022 were smaller or if U.S. income growth slowed by more in early calendar year 2023 than we project, the extraordinary measures could be exhausted sooner, and the Treasury could run out of funds before July, he said. The report comes a month after the Treasury warned it could run out of the emergency measures as soon as June, after the national debt reached the roughly $31.4 trillion threshold set by Congress more than a year ago. And we provide all this for free, for everyone to read. We do this because we believe in information equality. Greater numbers of people can keep track of the global events shaping our world, understand their impact on people and communities, and become inspired to take meaningful action. Millions can benefit from open access to quality, truthful news, regardless of their ability to pay for it. Whether you give a little or a lot, your funding will power our reporting for the years to come. If you can, please support us on a monthly basis from just $2. It takes less than a minute to set up, and you can rest assured that you're making a big impact every single month in support of open, independent journalism. Thank you.